Hi everyone, welcome to Sri Sai online training. Right, so in this session of advanced Python programming, we are going to discuss the following topics: types of methods in Python class. So we'll see instance method, class method with class variables, which are special variables, and then static methods. So instance methods, class methods, and static methods inside a class. So what is the use of them and what is the importance of them? So before starting with the session, let us have a small revision what we discussed in the last session. So in the last session, we discussed about types of variables: instance variables, static variables, and local variables. So we discussed static variables in a Python class. So how to work with static variables, how to declare static variables inside a class and outside a class, and how to access static variables, how to modify static variables, and how to delete static variables. Okay. And then we have also discussed how to work with local variables. So local variables have local access and direct access. Right. So coming to the static variables are declared without any constructor or without any method directly inside a class, and they can be accessed with class name or self variable name inside the class, and outside the class we can access them with class name as well as with object name. So static variables are those variables which are common for all the objects of a class. Instance variables are those variables which are separate for every object of a class. And local variables are those variables which are defined inside a particular method of a class. So local variables have local access and direct access. Right. So basically we can declare static variables directly in a class without constructor and without any method. And then we can also declare them inside a constructor. So inside a constructor using class name, inside an instance method using class name, inside a class method using class variable name, and inside a static method using class name. And then we can also access them in the same way inside the constructor, inside the instance method, inside the static method, inside the class method using. So inside the class method we can access them using class name as well as using class variable name. Right, so we can also modify them inside the class as well as outside the class in the same way how you declare them and access them. And coming to the outside of the class we have to modify them using class name. So when you try to modify them with object name or self name, you will get an instance variable. It is not modified to the static variable. And coming to the delete, so we can delete inside a class and outside a class. So inside a class we have to use delete statement followed by class name dot static variable name, and outside a class also we can use delete class name dot static variable name. And one special case is there: inside class method we can also delete it using delete followed by class variable name dot static variable name. And local variables, they have local access and direct access. So this is what is all about in the last session: types of variables, static variables, and local variables. So now coming to today's session first topic: types of methods in a Python class. So in a Python class we can have three types of methods, like three types of variables: instance variables, static variables, and local variables. We have instance methods, class methods, and static methods. We don't have local methods. Instance method, class method, and static method. Right. So first of all, let us start with instance method. So what are instance methods? So instance means object. Instance means object. So methods whose functionality is specific to every object of a class are called as instance method. Means their functionality is specific to every particular object of a class. And for instance method we use self variable as input parameter, and generally this self variable is the first parameter. Okay, so we use self variable as first parameter. Right, so for example, let us try to demonstrate this in the program. It goes like this. Example, so define m1 method self. So self indicates current object under execution. Okay, and in these methods we access instance variables using self variable. Okay, so for examples, instance variable means for object s1, roll number, name, height. Okay, so similarly for s2 also will have roll number, name, height, and so on. So these variables are accessed inside the instance method using self variable. So self indicates current object s1, s2, s3, so on. And how to access them? So inside the class we have to access with self variable, and outside the class we have to access with object reference variable name. Okay, so inside the class self dot we can use roll number, name, height, and outside the class we have to use variable name s1 dot roll number, name, height. Right, so instance means object, so they are separate for every object of a class, so they can be declared inside the class. Okay, with self variable. So let us try to demonstrate this with a small program. So instance methods 1.py. Okay, so take a new page. So first we'll write the comments. Okay, so program to define instance methods in a class. Okay, so let us take a student class. So inside the student class we are taking the constructor. So define double underscore init constructor. So constructor is a special method of a class. It is executed automatically when the object of a class is created. And for constructor we have to pass self as the first input parameter. Self represents current object under execution. So using self we are going to initialize 3 properties to the object. So with the input parameters roll number, name, average. So self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot average. Next, this is the instance method. Self display. Okay, right, so print self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot average. And then we are taking one more instance method, grade self. So here we want to find the grade of a particular student. How? Checking if average greater than or equals to 75, print distinction. Elif average greater than or equals to 65, print first class. Else if average greater than or equals to 50, print second class. Else if average greater than or equals to 35, print third class. Else print failed. Okay, right, now coming to the program execution process. So input, enter number of students, 2 students, convert that into integer and store that in n. So for I in range of n, so 0, 1, so loop will execute 2 times. So first input roll number, convert that into integer and store that in roll number variable. Similarly input name, store that in name variable. Input average, convert that into float and store that in average variable. Next, so create an object of the class stud. Okay, so student object, right ma? So student object, call the constructor. So student roll number, name, average. So whatever we are accepting from the keyboard we are passing to the constructor. So it will go to the init method. So for student object, self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot average. So 3 data properties are assigned. right? So after that, student object dot display. It will display roll number, name, height, average marks, and then student object dot grade. Distinction, first class, second class, third class, or fail. Take a new line. So save this, come to the command prompt, and then run it. So py, right? So instance methods dot py. Right, how many students? 2 students. So roll number 1001, name, psi, average marks 95. So here we got 1001, psi 95. Okay, we got an error here, student object. Okay, it is capital O, case sensitive. So save this. Okay, once again run, number of students 2, psi, okay, sorry, rerun, number of students 2, roll number 1001, name, psi, average marks 95. So distinction greater than or equals to 75. So second student 1002, Ram 55. So second class 55 is greater than or equals to 50. So this is how we are supposed to work with instance methods, display method, grade method with self variable to define data properties or variables of a particular object. Right, guys. So coming to next topic, setter methods and getter instance methods. So very simple, setter setting the value, getter getting the value. So these methods allows us to set value, get value of instance variables. Instance variables means roll number, name, height, separate for every object. Okay, right, guys. So example, we can take it like this: roll number, name, height of student object. Okay, so for example, how to use setter method. Okay, so setter method is also called as mutator method. Okay, mutator method. So how to use this? Define set variable name followed by self, pass the value as variable. So set variable name is equals to variable. For example, define. So define set roll number. So first input parameter is self, current object, roll number. So self dot roll number is equals to roll number. So set roll number. Okay. Like similarly, getter method. So getter method are also called as accessor method. They will get the value from the variable. So very simple here. So get roll number of self. Don't pass input parameter. Return self dot roll number. So return self dot roll number, return self dot name, return self dot height, return self dot marks, like that. So setting the values with input parameter, returning the values with get. So set get. So set name, set roll number, set height, etc. Okay, right. So let us try to demonstrate this with setter getter methods dot py. So take a new page. So first we'll write the comments, program to demo setter and getter methods in a class. So take a student class. So we are taking roll number, name, height. So define set roll number. R is capital mark. Okay. So take first parameter self variable and then followed by input parameter roll number. So self dot roll number is equals to roll number. Similarly, set name, self name. So self dot name is equals to name. Set height, self height is the input parameter. So self dot height is equals to height. So here self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot height. So these are data properties of a student object. And whatever we are assigning, roll number, name, these are input variables. So similarly, get roll number, return self dot roll number. Get name, return self dot name. Get height, return self dot height. So let us take the same coding. Okay, right. Input how many number of students? 2 students. So take a for loop I in range of 0 1. So accept roll number from keyboard, name from keyboard, and height from keyboard using input function, and convert that into respective data type. Int float. Now create an object of student class. Okay, after creating the object, student object dot set roll number. So pass the roll number what you have accepted from the keyboard. Similarly, set name, pass name. Set height, pass height. So for this student object, okay, we'll take this as student obj for our easy understanding. Student obj, student obj. So roll number, name, height will be set using setter methods. So these are 3 setter methods. Similarly, getter methods. It will return the value and print it in our program. So print student object dot get roll number, get name, get height. Okay, so this is how we have to use setter method and getter method. Let's save this program in your working directory, come to the command prompt, and then run setter getter methods.py. So enter number of students 2, roll number 1001, name Sai, height 5.9. So setting the values and getting the values in print method. Similarly, second student 1002, Ram 5.6. Setting the values and getting the values using setter instance method and getter instance method. So this is how we have to work with setter and getter instance methods in a class. So now coming to the second type of methods in a class are class methods. So first one is instance methods, now class methods. Now in class method, we mainly use or access static variables of a class. So we have 3 types of variables now: instance variables, static variables, and local variables. So static variables are common for all the object of a class. So such variables are mainly accessed inside class methods. Okay, right. So this method is declared using @class method decorator. So we have to use @class method at the beginning of the method. And for these methods, we have to pass one special class variable as input parameter. So what is this special variable as parameter? Known as class method class variable, or simply class variable. And this class variable, it is the first parameter, and it is mainly used to access static variables of a class. And for this, we can also pass other parameters, but after passing class variable. So first we have to take class variable and then followed by other variables. And how to access class methods? So class methods are accessible using class name or object reference variable name. Okay, so it goes like this. Example, class name dot class method. Okay, and then using object reference also, object dot class method. So these are the 2 ways to access the class method, inside the class or outside the class. Okay, right. So let us try to demonstrate this class method using a program. So first take a new page. Right, so program to demo. class methods in a class, right? So class methods. So class name is also class methods. Okay, right. So we are taking a static variable C11. So static variable is common for all the objects of a class. So static variable common for all objects of class. Okay, and then this is the class method. So at the beginning of the class method, we have to use @class method. So define M1 method. So first we have to take class variable. Like for init method, I mean instance methods and constructor, we take self variable now. So for class method we have to take one special variable, any variable name, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Here I'm taking CLS var. Okay, CLS var. So this is a class variable, first input parameter, followed by other input parameters X, Y. Okay, now let us print the static variable. So what is a static variable? C. So we can access the static variable using class variable. So class variable dot C, or we can also use class name dot C, but class variable speciality is that. And then let us print input parameters, local variable X, local variable Y. Right, so now how to access the class methods with class name? So class methods dot call M1 method 100 101 and then 200 201. So 100 101 will be passed to X and Y, 200 201 will be passed to X and Y. So class variable, no need to pass any input parameter, it is a special variable to access the static variables inside the class method. Right, so let us execute till here. Save this program, come to the command prompt. Right, so run class methods.py. So when you call M1 method, it should print C value, X value, Y value. So first time C value, X value, Y value, 11, 100, 101. Second time C value is 11, X, Y, 200 and 201. Right. So similarly, we'll create the object of a class. Obj is equals to class methods. Okay. So we don't have any constructor, no issues. So obj.m1. So using object also we can access the class method. 300, 301. So save this. Run. So using object, so class variable dot c 11 and local variables input parameter x 300, y 301. So this is how we have to define a class method in our program with first input parameter as a class variable, using which we can access static variables of a class, and then followed by we can pass other input parameters also. So coming to the third type of methods in a class, static methods. So first one, instance method. They are separate for every object of a class for functionality. Class methods mainly used to access the static variables with class variable. So what are static methods? So static methods are general utility method. They are common for all the objects of a class. So such methods are declared with @static method decorator. Okay. Now in this static method, we don't use instance variables or class variables. Okay. So instance variables are mainly used in instance method and class variables are used in class methods. Okay. So here we do not pass self variable or class variable. So self variable is current object. So object means instance. So we have to pass it to instance method or constructor. Coming to the class variable is a special variable to access static variables inside a class method. So pass it to class method. So here we don't pass anything. And how to access them? Okay. So we have to access them using class name. So example goes like this: class name dot static method, or using object name. So for example, object dot static method. So let us try to demonstrate this with a small program, static methods dot py. So take a new page. So first write the comments, program to demo static methods in a class. Right. So class static methods. Okay, we'll take two static methods, ma. Two are okay, three. @ static method, sum x comma y, print x comma y, sub x comma y, print x minus y, product x comma y, print x into y. Right, so come out of the class first using class name. Okay, so this is using class name. So what is a class name? Static methods dot sum 11 comma 3, subtraction 11 comma 3, product 11 comma 3. So save this program, come to the command prompt, and then run static methods dot py. So 11 plus 3, 14, 11 minus 3, 8, 11 into 3, 33. Right, so similarly we'll create the object of a class. Obj is equals to static methods. So using object dot sum 1133, object dot subtraction 11 minus 33, object dot product 11 into 33. So using object name or object reference name. Right, so save this and run. So 44 minus 22, 11 into 33, 363. So this is how we are supposed to work with static methods inside a class using @ static method decorator, and we can access them using class name, using object reference name outside the class. So coming to how to pass members of one class to another class. Okay, so it is done with passing object as parameter. Okay, so we can pass object of one class to another class, methods. Okay, and access its properties or members in another class as parameter. Okay, so once again I'll repeat it here. So we can pass object of one class to another class and access its members in another class as parameter to method. Okay, so let us try to demonstrate this object as parameter dot py. Right, so we'll take two classes here. So first write the comments, program to demo passing object as parameter. So first we'll take student class constructor, self variable, roll number, name, height, 3 input parameters. So initialize 3 data members, self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot height. Next let us take show method with self variable and display self dot roll number, self dot name, self dot height. Okay, next let us take demos method. Okay, right, so inside the demos class, this is another class. Now inside this class we are taking static method. So what is the name of the static method? Update. So what is the input parameter we are passing here? Stud, means student object. So what we are doing with student object, we are modifying the heights. So student.height is equals to student.height plus 0.2. So we are increasing the height of a student with 0.2 inches. And then student.show. So show method is available in student class. So we are accessing student class show method using student object. So when we pass student object as parameter to update method. Okay, so this is student class object as parameter to update method. Update method in demos class. So this is demos class. Increasing the height and calling the show method. Right, so first let us create an object of S1. S1, I mean student object, S1 is equals to student 1001 size 6.0. So S1 dot show. So save this program, right? Come to the command prompt and then run object as parameter. So initially S1 contains 1001 size 6.0. Now demos. Under demos, update method. So it is a static method. We can access it directly with class name. So update of S1. So height is increased to 0.2 and then show. So save this and run. So now 1001 size 6.2, previously 6.0. Now let us call once again s1.show. Okay. Right. So when you call s1.show, it is 6.2 because when we pass object as parameter to a particular method, changes are updated to original object. Okay. So this is what is object as parameter. So the note point goes like this. So here any changes done with, okay, formal parameter. So formal parameter object are updated or reflected to original or actual parameter, actual argument object. Okay, so in this case, if you come to the program, actual object is S1 and formal object is stud. So we have done changes with stud, they are reflected to S1. So this is how we are supposed to work with passing object as parameter to the method. So right guys, that is what is all about today's session in advanced Python programming, types of methods in Python class, instance methods, class methods with special class variable, and static methods. And we have also seen object as parameter to method. So passing object as parameter to the method. Right. So thank you for watching and listening to this session. Have a nice day.